Hello all. Today we're talking about D-Day at Tarawa, a solitaire game from Decision Games and designer John Butterfield. Now I got this used and everything is complete and good condition in there. My friendly local gaming store where I bought it at does a good job. If they offer something used, it's usually complete. Never had any issues with that. And everything's there. I've accounted for it. It's in really good condition. It's partially played. They cut out some counters, and that's the big issue that I like to start talking about here a little bit is some of the counters are clipped. Just barely, just the nibs off the corners are clipped. But the other two counter sheets are not. Actually, most of the counters are not clipped. So myself, who has a little bit of OC and a completionist, having to have everything the same, what do I do when something is partially clipped? I really haven't had that issue before. I've only had a handful of, I don't think I've ever had a game that's been just partially clipped. It's either all clipped or not clipped at all. I generally don't clip. Having owned over, as far as war games, over 1,000, not all of them have counters, but several hundreds to thousands of war games, I don't clip counters. Just never did, never got into it. It'd be to me, it's time consuming, and the task now to go back and do that would be, daunting. And in fact, D-Day Omaha Beach, which I've owned for a while, I never clipped the counters. Now, these counters, Decision Games are a lot like that, especially their magazine games. You can see there's nibs, a lot of nibs. And a lot of people don't like those. They're unsightly. I don't like them. They can, hit up another stack of counters, knock them around. Ardwolf from Ardwolf's Lair had a whole episode on this where he talked about the reasons for it and counter clipping, and he laid out all kinds of nice instruments and all the different options that you have to clip counters. And myself, I don't clip counters, never have. But now I have a game where I need to figure out what I need to do. So if you want to comment, let me know. Let me know what you do. Would you go ahead and clip it all? Clip this game? Would you start clipping the rest of the games? I know D-Day Omaha Beach probably really needs a clipping. The only instrument I have is this. Ardwolf had all those really nice handy-dandy counter clippers. I got this. Now, I think that's going to be sufficient to get rid of some of the nibs and make these consistent with the rest of the counters in this game. But I'd like to know your thoughts on that. To clip or not to clip? That is the question. So looking at this game, this is, again, solitaire game. It's in the same tradition of D-Day at Omaha Beach. In fact, there's several other games in this line now. D-Day Omaha Beach was one of the first. It's card driven in that the cards give you the AI for in this case, the Japanese, and will tell you what turn it is, what happens, and what units or sectors kind of attack for the Japanese. It also tells you what to do with loading as you're trying to have your beach landing, and what units make it and what units don't, as far as units and their steps, but also the landing craft as well. You have the Japanese, and there's basically two types of counters that represent the Japanese. There's the army counter, then they have a depth counter that goes into gameplay as far as how they attack and how severe the attack is. The U.S. counters have their combat. They also have symbols. These symbols are very important because when I get to the map, you're going to see that this is a very busy map and a very symbol-driven game as far as telling you what can attack, where it attacks, and what's the effect of it. And the symbols on the U.S. counters, including the indications on the U.S. counters as far as what weaponry they have, is very important. Flamethrowers and the like, you need that to enter certain hexes or to make certain attacks. The rule book is fully color, very nice. 32 pages with a chart on the back that talks about the Japanese fire and action summary. Very nicely done. Some color pictures in there, examples of play. This is not an easy solitaire game. This game there is definitely a learning curve to it. It takes a little bit getting used to. It took me a while to get used to D-Day Omaha, and then once I got it, it was good. But if you set it down and don't play it for for a few months, or heck, even for a few days, it might be something you have to pick back up and relearn all over again. There's charts, there's 3 player aids, talk about the basic sequence of play, summaries of key priorities, U.S. attack results, U.S. barrage table, U.S. weapons table. As again, these weapon tables are important, which infantry units have these, and these different weapons are are required to make certain attacks during the game. You have close combat procedure and the Japanese fire chart. As I said, it's very dependent upon the symbols that are on the counters and on the game board. The map is nice, very colorful, but very busy. And D-Day Omaha Beach is the same way. I remember the first time I opened it up, I was like, what is this? So this is a very unique war game in that respect, but the colors are coded to the sectors that they control or where they can shoot. And that's all part of the AI and kind of built into the system there. So you get a very nice large map. And the difference here is D-Day Omaha Beach was just Omaha Beach. This is the entire Tarawa campaign, or most of the island, to take over that. You also get a little bit of a history book, talks about the battle, some nice maps and charts in there, your order of battle, where the context of it during the war, and some, a good, nice little historical historical background there. And this was, whoever owned this made these copies. It's kind of interesting. Haven't really looked into this too much, but this was included in it. I don't think that comes with the game, but it came with mine. So that is D-Day at Tarawa. It's a good game, good system. Highly recommend the solitaire system, but it is an investment. D-Day at Omaha, there's several in the series. D-Day at Omaha Beach was the beginning of that, but it's a very good system. John Butterfield is kind of the king of solitaire. I mean, he did Ambush, which is almost the holy grail of solitaire games in the wargaming world, and has done several others since then. I mean, he's also branched out into space. He's got a Space Corp, which also it's a multiplayer game, but also has a solitaire component to that as well. If you've been seeing my videos lately, I've been doing war games, and I've been doing some space games. So war in space. Hey, that's a good idea. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful. Again, if you want to leave any comments, I'm a new channel, young channel, nobody's commenting. But hey, if you want to talk about counter clipping, feel free to do in the comments, to clip or not to clip. That is the question. Hope this was helpful. Thank you.